Hi, gang. Transgender bathrooms being discussed. Zoey Tur, transgender journalist and Ben Shapiro colleague, went on CNN. Let's see what she had to say.
The transgender community, there's not been any violence or victimization of a physical kind associated with this.
No, there hasn't. What you're really to put it in perspective, never have so many cared so much about so few for so little.
Well, thanks for the perspective, Zoe. What the fuck was that?
Never have so many cared so much about so few for so little.
No, Zoe. It's more like never have so few cared so little about so many for so much. But close.
Literally talking about, there's 64 million K through 12 students in the United States, and we're talking maybe about a few hundred cases of transgender students wanting to use a restroom that doesn't necessarily correspond with their birth gender.
That doesn't sound right. Are you going to make me do math? 64 million, 1/3 of 1%. All right. I'm coming up with 213,000 and change. I know if that's really important, but I'm trying to understand which way it's trying to go with it, because it can be advantageous to say, hey, we're so few, like Zoe is apparently doing, and saying, come on, we ain't going to bother you, there's just a few of us. But then again, in other contexts, it may be very advantageous to say, hey, we're here, we're transsexual, and there's, a shitload of us. So kind of seeing which way they commit on that. All right, whether it's 200 or 200,000, that's not really the point. The point is, this is not the problem. Transgenders aren't the problem. That's not what people are alarmed about. I don't know why he seems to be, or I'm sorry, she. I don't want to go home in an ambulance. I don't know why she seems to automatically assume that the people having a problem with this, it's about transgenders. It's not about transgenders. It's about public safety, and it's about the little kids in school who may or may not be comfortable with the biological boy, let's say, in the female locker room. It's kind of already uncomfortable anyways for someone going through puberty to change in front of one another, and we're not quite sure. Is it going to be traumatic? Is there going to be unrest? Is there going to be a lot of incidents? Are the schools going to have to add staff to deal with it, or is it going to go smoothly? I think it's okay to ask those questions, and I think those concerns is what you would figure people sticking up for it, like Zoe here, would address. Instead of coming on and instead of saying, hey, look, I know this is a bit jarring, or I understand that this could be very alarming. Instead, do the old narcissistic trick of just pretend it's like that. Pretend it's that way. Pretend it's normal, and it's no big deal. Never went on there and made a case. Just simply said, hey, it's normal and no big deal. Didn't even quite say that. Just simply acted as if that was true. And that's what you get a lot when you're dealing with these people. So simply put, yesterday, a boy walks into the 10th grade locker room and pulls out his schwanz. He's kicked out of school. He's going down. He's going down a hero, but he's going down. But today, if that happens, he walks in there, pulls it out. Principal grabs him by the neck. Does he say, hey, I'm a transgendered girl? What do you do with that? That's the crux of it. That's the question. Start there. Come up with a solution to that. I'd love to hear the ideas in the comments on what do you do with that situation. Is he going to be discriminated against because he doesn't look like a girl? Or Zoe can answer it now, or maybe be a victim.
What we're really seeing is the blowback from gay marriage. We're now getting this. We're now being subjected to Jim Crow-style laws.
If she likens herself to the 20th century black struggle, I'm going to fucking shoot myself.
Every civil rights issue is always revolved around the restroom. Remember when, back in the day of the 45th governor of Alabama, George Crawley Wallace, where, they made claims that black men would enter, women's restrooms and rape them, and those claims were made, and now they're making it against people like me.
Can you give me a pass, please. I'm just going to click her off, okay? Sit down, have a drink. Yeah, and I don't claim to have all the answers, and I, honest to God, wanted to just see what you guys thought. I would love a transgendered person to answer in the comments and address that situation specifically. And maybe you have a good idea. I would genuinely love to hear it. I think it's a fair question. I think it's a question that would, answer a lot of people's concerns. And it's not going to be very difficult doing a better job than Zoey did in this interview. And speaking of participation, from the makers of MiloSexual.com, the very funny troll fan site of Milo Yiannopoulos, comes the UnsafeSpace.com. That'll be up and running in about a week or two. We are really hoping for member participation, viewer participation. We're going to have everything from guest blogging to the most offensive article or joke of the week. We want everyone from white to black to liberal to conservative. I mean, why waste some of those brilliant YouTube posts? Make a little article, we'll feature it. We might even make a video out of it. So please keep an eye on that, the unsafespace.com, and you can follow Milosexual on Twitter at Privileged Victim, VICTM, at Privileged Victim. Subscribe, we just got going and are launching. It's kind of a soft launch right now. And if you don't subscribe and like, you're going home in an ambulance.